YouTube channel. As seen by the title below, we're going to talk about why I chose computer science, how I got into computer science, and what are the types of conflicts that I've came across or I've encountered throughout my schooling career, particularly within this course, considering that it's such a male-dominated course and also a male-dominated industry as well. So let's get straight to it. So I'm currently studying at the IIE's Varsity College Sandton. I am a third year student. I'm just starting third year, finally, we're at the final stretch, woohoo. And I am studying a bachelor's degree, also called Computer Science and Computer and Information Sciences and Application Development, also known as BCAD. And this particular course covers every single little thing that you could possibly think of if you want to go within the tech industry. I'm talking about once you have this particular degree, you can branch out into many different platforms, many different features, many different work opportunities, let me call it that, career paths, that's the word I'm looking for, career paths, such as software engineering, web development, data analytics, data engineering, data science, all that you can possibly think of. This particular course does that for you. So I'm in love. I'm not gonna lie, I'm all things crazy about tech right now at the moment. How I got into computer science, it was far more than I'd anticipated. It was way not even in my train of thought in terms of career paths. What I always wanted to do was medicine, and that was my passion since grade 8. And then, life happens, and I believe that God puts you in positions that you need to be in and closes certain doors for a specific reason. And so I had applied for medical school, I had applied for University, I had applied the University of Cape Town, the University of Pretoria, to name a few. And I got rejected at the University of Witwatersrand. I didn't get accepted into that. I applied at Sefako Makgato, also known as Majunta. And what they did was they said that I can go into the Bachelor of Science program, and then only once I've completed the Bachelor of Science program, then go into the medical, your MBCHB essentially, which is your Bachelor of Medicine. And when I calculated it, it didn't seem realistic to me financially as well as how many years I'm going to be spending. I'm going to do a BSc for 4 years and then only go into the medical course, which is essentially a whole other 6 or so many years. And it didn't make sense for me financially. So then apart from medicine, what I really had a big liking and inkling to was aviation. And unfortunately, obviously, that one as well was extremely expensive, very expensive, and it just didn't make financial sense. And then, it was closer towards nearing the end of the year. I had applied to all of these public institutions, and their closing dates and stuff was already there. It was like closing everything. And then I saw Varsity College Sandton, and I looked at the degrees and courses that they essentially offer, and I'm like, why aren't there many females within the tech industry? What is the reason behind us females shying away from this particular career path, or shying away from being into tech? And so I looked at this as the perfect opportunity for me to go head on into this career path. And I'm like, this is exactly where I need to be. I'm a type of person who likes challenges. So I felt like this was the great course for me to go into. And then essentially what I did was I applied, and I got called in for essentially an interview with the student advisor. The student advisor and I, along with my mother, we sat down, we discussed my marks. So the requirements, if I'm not mistaken, I'll put up like a little screen thing of what their requirements are at the Varsity College Sandton for this particular program. If I'm not mistaken, if you're doing an NSC, which is your National Senior Certificate Grade 12, you need to have had at least 30% minimum for English, 40% minimum for pure mathematics. If you took math literacy, you need to have, I think, 60 or 65% in order for you to get accepted. And so that's what we did. My marks were way beyond that. That's why I wanted to do medicine. But, life happens. It is what it is. So once we sat down with the student advisor, she had gone through everything and obviously what Varsity College stands for and, the ethos and so on and so forth. And then in my head, because I didn't even have IT in high school, and I had no idea at that particular time what coding was, and I was like, that wasn't anything that I thought of. And the fact that I was going head on, full body, everything into this particular course was just beyond me. So I had seen that they had offered a higher certificate for information technology, which essentially gives you, if you didn't do IT in high school, like a groundwork, or a framework rather, of what coding is, what programming is, how things are done essentially in IT, the courses and stuff as well, and what you would essentially be preparing for a bachelor's degree. And my student advisor looked at my marks and she was like, you would be wasting your time if you had gone, if you go through the high certificate route, which is essentially a year. And so she was like, just dive in full force into the bachelor's degree, you know, and I took her advice and I dived in through the bachelor's degree. I'm not going to lie, my first year, so I majored in computer science, essentially programming. And then our minor for first year was mathematics. So this brings me to my next little topic. If you had not done pure mathematics in high school and you did mathematical literacy, it isn't bad that you have done that. It's just that if you did pure maths, things like the skills that you get equipped with mathematics, such as problem solving and so on and so forth, it just essentially becomes easier when you're going to code full on. And I found it just really easy for me. And then a lot of the concepts that we were doing in our minor for mathematics first year was a lot of the concepts that we probably did in grade 8 towards 12 mathematically. So grade 10 towards 12. So it wasn't anything new, and essentially it just becomes easier. But if you did mathematical literacy, and I saw with my peers who did mathematical literacy and were doing this course, and we minored in mathematics in our first year, essentially struggled with grasping a few of the concepts that are in there. So that's why I feel like also as well in public institutions, you also minor with mathematics, if I'm not completely wrong. And also to get accepted as well, you need to have had pure mathematics, I think with a level 50 or 60 or something to that. I'm not entirely sure what it looks like at public institutions, but VC allows you to at least have mathematical literacy. Just it becomes difficult. You need to work extra hard as compared to if you were a pure math student. So that's one of the discrepancies that it has as well. But in terms of my journey in computer science, so the first programming language we learned was Java, which essentially is like your basic framework of coding. That's how I would look at it. It's like baby language. It's just to get your ball rolling, and then everything builds off of Java, and that's what I've realized about all these other programming languages. So in second year we were doing C#. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing in final year, but I know we're going to start doing mobile development and all of these cool, exciting things. So I'm very excited for that. I am currently part-time just doing a bootcamp course of Python, because that's also one of the main languages that are being used in industry if you would like to go into software development, data science, and so on and so forth. So it's very important as well, as another point, to go into this particular course being sure of what exactly you're going to do, and being sure of the fact that you need to constantly upskill, because it's an ever-changing environment. With IT, you need to genuinely upskill, do all of these certifications. I know there's a platform called Udemy, and what they do is they've got all of these IT certifications, and you pay a certain fee and you just do the course, like watch the lectures, do the examination, and get certified. A lot of these companies that you start applying to, especially in your third year, they start recruiting for different people coming in from various varsities. They love to see certain certifications on your CV as well. And that's one thing that you constantly need to do. So, I mean, I just finished my second year. I'm doing all of these certifications, so on and so forth. You've got various types. So like I said, this particular course branches out into many things. If you want to major in cloud development, you can just do cloud development. If you want to major in software development, you do that. So it's very beautiful. So you get to choose which stack, that's what we call it, you would like to actually be specializing in. Apart from that, my journey into computer science was very daunting. I'm not going to lie to you. It was like, why am I here right now? What am I doing? I have no idea what coding is. I have no idea what programming is. I had to start literally from the ground up, because you get into varsity and your first lecture starts and the lecture is like, hey, this is the code, see how it runs, make changes if you feel like making changes. I was like, can you take me through like, ABC? Literally, it's like learning a completely new language. Definitely learning like a completely new language. But one of the main factors that helped me was YouTube. I swear on my life, YouTube was my best friend. How I managed to get distinctions throughout my first year is just beyond me. Yeah, it's very beyond me. So we essentially just did a minor in mathematics for first year, and then second year And I think in third year, our minors will then be databases and cloud development, if I'm not mistaken, because we did that throughout the semesters. And that's basically what it was. So I was essentially in a class, if I'm not mistaken, of maybe 15 or 18, or let's say 15 boys. And there was about 5 girls, literally in the whole entire class. That's how male saturated this particular career path is. And I would assume it's the same for careers such as chemical engineering, electrical engineering, any engineering or what we deem manly courses are obviously going to be male saturated. And I think that was a big change for me as well emotionally. And because it was like, where are the girls? And that's the reason as to why I was like, this is the course that I need to be in. This is what I need to be doing, because I would like to empower females and the youth to consider more technologically inclined career paths. I mean, like, hello girls, like, where are we? We're smarter than these boys, aren't we, in these particular courses? Like, what are we doing, you know? And that's why I just fell in love with programming as a whole, and the concept of coding, because you're learning a new language that not a lot of people know about. Like, it's kind of like, you know, a little chip on your shoulder that you can brag about. And I love that so much. And I really want us as females to be able to say that, like, hey, I'm a software engineer, hey, I'm a cloud developer, whatever the situation may be. It's amazing and it's empowering, and that's exactly what my platform aims to do and what my initiative aims to do towards. I want to grab, like, where are all my ladies? I want to grab all of my girls and let's just code together. Let's be a force, guys. We can be a force to be reckoned with, to be honest. So in terms of the conflict that I had faced, you know, conflict can be in many forms. It can be verbally, where someone is actually insulting you, or you're having a fight or an argument, or it can also be just, you know, body language. And that's how I experienced it. I experienced mine through body language. So just think about it. I was a girl, first year, fresh out of high school. I knew nothing about coding. I didn't know what I was doing half of the time. And I was surrounded by thousands of boys, like a lot of male energy, because I mean, they do IT, guys. It's, you know, it's their thing. So for them to see a female, and especially the one who doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, because this is essentially new to them, they made it seem like there's a word for it, like, you know, you're being looked down upon. Essentially, that's what it was. I mean, we had an exercise that we had to do, and our lecturer gave it to us, and she was like, listen, you need to submit it tomorrow, so on and so forth. And I'm looking at this exercise, I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, what language is this? What the hell am I looking at? And so I asked one of the boys to assist me, like, hey, please can you give me a breakdown of what exactly we're supposed to do? What is the question, so on and so forth. And he gave me a breakdown, but he came across to me, like, you just see it, you know, facially and body-wise. You know, he comes across all, you know, like, yeah, okay, step out of the way, I know what I'm doing, you don't know what you're doing. And Gastwana, we called it one yat. That's basically what you're doing. And it was like, bro, relax. So in that moment, when I experienced the type of, like, why are you doing this to me, the type of conflict, the best form and the best weapon that you can possibly have, and this is what Nelson Mandela quotes has said, and essentially was your education. That's your best form of revenge. And that's how I was like, I'm actually going to show this boy that I know what I'm doing. And I did that with my marks. I mean, I came back to class and I was asking questions, interacting with the lecturer. It's like I knew what I was talking about. And I had to do that through obviously doing my own research, YouTubing, and all of those things. And genuinely, if you face that kind of stigma as a female in quite a male-dominated industry, the best form of revenge that you can give yourself and give this person, sorry, not yourself, you can give the person who's essentially like looking down upon you, is your marks, your education, your interest in what we're doing. Like, you're making them feel scared now, because yesterday you didn't know anything, and then all of a sudden you know something, you know what I mean? So that was the way that I handled that particular conflict. And I mean, in an industry like this, you essentially will receive that kind of discrimination, if I may put it like that, and it's very sad. That's why I feel like us as girls who are essentially in coding, we need to team up together, and, you know, like, come on, these boys need to take a seat, like, relax, we know what we're doing. And so that was the type of conflict that I have essentially faced. But I swear on my whole entire life, this was the best decision that I've ever done for myself, the best decision that I've ever made. Computer science is the beauty of it. Guys, the beauty of learning how systems work. I mean, I would be now, because like obviously I know what I'm doing, I would sit down on my laptop and I'd open a website and I'm like, all right, I can create that. Oh, I know what's happening here. Oh, I know why the URL looks like this. I know what HTTPS stands for and what HTTP stands for and all of those things. So it's just fun because everything that we're currently doing right now in this world and the future is technology. So I believe that everyone should upskill and learn a programming language that is genuinely the language of the future. And you're going to essentially be a force to be reckoned with, because no one can tell you what to do. If I can hack into your phone, if I can create a website, create an application for your phone. So it's a very, very, very beautiful course. And I want all my girls to consider it. Guys, like, this is, I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just stick in your lane, do what you're doing, have your marks skyrocket and be really high. That's something no one can take away from you. Your education is something no one can take away from you, and that's why it's essentially very important for us to be sure what we want to do with the future. So I hope this is essentially helpful to also grade 11s and 12s and grade 10s and anyone younger essentially, who are looking towards taking a career path within computer science. Is very beautiful. Programming it's hard work. It's hard work. I'm not going to repeat that any further, but if you're a person who likes challenges and you enjoy figuring things out, and there's a beauty behind it, I mean, that sigh of relief when your program finally runs, there's no bugs, is like the best feeling ever in your life. You feel very much accomplished. So I just feel like we need to team up. Guys, let's think about the future and stop worrying about other things that are not necessarily important in our lives. Like, if you're going to consistently be fixated on, oh, what are people going to think, like, you're not going to go anyway. So I hope this has reached out towards all of the females in this particular, in the world essentially, and the ones who want to go into computer science, to consider, guys. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful course. I mean, afterwards you can specialize in whatever you want to be. I'm going to make another video for that one of how I chose my stack and where I want to actually go, because, you know, third year we already applied for jobs and so on and so forth. So I'll make a separate video for that, but I hope you guys found this very informative. Please keep in touch with me. My Instagram handle is somewhere on my about page on my channel, but I'll link it below, and my LinkedIn page if you guys want to keep in contact with me. Thank you so much. See you soon.